Hello, everybody. Welcome to Act 2, Scene 3 of Romeo and Juliet. So, as always, I ask that you guys watch this through, see what you can understand about the characters in the story based upon the performances of the actors, and then watch it through a second time, following along with the text so that you can gain some deeper understanding. And as always, after we read the scene, we're going to talk about it. So, make sure you watch that. Okay, so here we are, Act 2, Scene 3, Friar Lawrence's cell. Enter Friar Lawrence with a basket.
The gray-eyed morn smiles on the frowning night, checkering the eastern clouds with streaks of light, and flecked darkness like a drunkard reels from fourth day's path and tightens fiery wheels. Now, ere the sun advances burning eye, the day to cheer and night's dank dew to dry, I must upfill this osier cage of ours with baleful weeds and precious juiced flowers. The earth that's nature's mother is her tomb. What is her burying grave, that is her womb, and from her womb children of divers kind, we, sucking on her natural bosom, find. Many, for many virtues excellent, none but for some, and yet all different. How mickle is the powerful grace that lies in herbs, plants, stones, and their true qualities, for naught so vile that on the earth doth live, but to the earth some special good doth give, nor aught so good but strange from that fair use revolts from true birth, stumbling on abuse. Virtue itself turns vice, being misapplied, and vice, sometimes by action, dignified. Within this infant rind of this small flower, poison hath residence and medicine power. For this, being smelt with that part, cheers each part. Being tasted, slays all senses with the heart. Two such opposed kings encamp them still in man as well as herbs, grace and rude will, and where the worser is predominant, full soon the canker death eats up that plant.
And
Good morrow, Father. Oh, good morrow, Father.
Benedicite! What early tongue so sweet saluteth me? Young man, it argues a distemperate head so soon to bid good morrow to thy bed. Care keeps his watch in every old man's eye, and where care lodges, sleep will never lie. And where unbruised youth with unstuffed brain doth couch his limbs, there golden sleep doth reign. Therefore, thy earliness doth me assure thou art uproused by some distemperature, or, if not so, here I hit it right, our Romeo hath not been in bed tonight.
That last is true. The sweeter rest was mine.
God pardon sin. Wast thou with Rosalind?
With Rosalind, my ghostly father. No, I have forgot that name, and that name's woe.
That's my good son. But where hast thou been then?
I'll tell thee ere thou ask it me again. I have been feasting with mine enemy, where on a sudden one hath wounded me that's by me wounded. Both our remedies within thy help and holy physic lies. I bear no hatred, blessed man, for lo, my intercession likewise steads my foe.
Be plain, good son, and homely in thy drift. Riddling confession find, but riddling shrift.
Then plainly know my heart's dear love is set on the fair daughter of rich Capulet. As mine on hers, so hers is set on mine, and all combined save what thou must combine by holy marriage, When and where and how we met, we wooed, and made exchange of vow. I'll tell thee as we pass, but this I pray, that thou consent to marry us today.
Holy Saint Francis! What a change is here! Is Rosalind, whom thou didst love so dear, so soon forsaken? Young men's love then lies, not truly in their hearts, but in their eyes. Jesu Maria, what a deal of brine hath washed thy sallow cheeks for Rosaline! How much salt thrown away in waste to season love that of it doth not taste! The sun, yet thy sighs from heaven clears, thy old groans ring yet in my ancient ears. Lo, here upon thy cheek the stain doth sit of an old tear that is not washed off yet. If e'er thou wast thyself, and these woes thine, thou and these woes were all for Rosaline. And art thou changed? Pronounce this sentence then. Women may fall when there's no strength in men.
Thou chidest me oft for loving, Rosalind.
For doting, not for loving, pupil mine.
And baddest me bury love?
Not in a grave, to lay one in, another out to have.
I pray thee, chide not. She whom I love now doth grace for grace and love for love allow. The other did not so.
Oh, she knew well. Thy love did read by rote and could not spell. But come, young waver, come, go with me. In one respect I'll thy assistant be, for this alliance may so happy prove to turn your household's rancor to pure love.
Oh, let us hence. I stand on sudden haste.
Wisely and slow, they stumble that run fast. Oh, I can't hear you, Vicky.
I muted myself so that I wouldn't disturb you, and I always forget to unmute. So here we are. Okay, so great job, guys. All right, so let us then talk about the scene a little bit. So, Friar, that first long speech that you have, what's going on there? What the heck are you talking about? A lot of earth stuff.
A lot of
happening.
It's a lot of like life is good. You know, I'm out collecting my herbs. But then as I'm discussing life, we're talking about how everything comes from the earth and then is buried into the earth again. It's a lot of like good and bad, and there's good and bad in everything. And in man, as well as in herbs, is what we come upon. So even though each plant has something good and bad in it, so does man. And I think there's a little foreshadowing here where they say, where the worser is predominant, full soon the canker death eats up that plant. So,
a little,
yeah, a little foreshadows, like bad things,
Bad things are coming.
They could come. If the bad outweighs the good, it could be really bad.
Okay.
So,
all right, good.
Yeah.
Why, for those who don't know, why is Friar Lawrence picking all these herbs? Like, what's he doing? Like, why does he need all these herbs?
I think, I assumed that was something he worked with. He makes poultices and medicines for his parishioners.
Okay. All right, good. So Romeo shows up, and Romeo, what else happens in the scene? Like, what is this exchange between you guys about?
I'm like, hey, can you be a bro and marry us? I know I just met her. However, and he kind of he kind of, chides me for having 5 minutes ago been in love with this other girl. And I'm like, no, God, this is different. And
Rosaline is so over. Rosaline is so over.
She's so 5 minutes ago. And yeah.
Yeah. So can you be a bro and marry me to this, to Juliet, essentially? Friar Lawrence, how do you think your character feels about all of this?
I think he's a little startled by Romeo's sudden change of heart, but I think overall he's rather pleased. He was telling him to get over Rosalind, and this new alliance could actually bring these two houses together that have been fighting. So maybe love will heal and bring them together. I think he's very optimistic at this moment.
Okay. All right. Good, good.
Yeah.
Can you guys talk about what your relationship is? Like the relationship between Friar Lawrence and Romeo. Like why is he telling you this? What do you think that relationship is like?
I kind of feel like he's a mentor figure for him, you know, sort of a teacher, a mentor, someone he can come to and confide to, but older with more experience.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, go ahead, Romeo.
Okay. I can't even hear at this point. My connection's a little buggy. But so I feel like Romeo has a relationship with Friar Lawrence that he can't really have with any other male character in the play that we see, at least. Like, he obviously can't go to his real father about this and say, like, hey, I'm in love with your enemy's daughter. Like, that wouldn't go over well. And he also can't really, I mean, like, he can joke and he's buddy-buddy with his friends, Benvolio and Mercutio, but once again, they're around Romeo's age, and they're kind of, could sort of act as competition for Romeo. So, and they also kind of have sort of a loving but competitive relationship. With the friar, priests can't get married and they can't have romantic relationships, so it doesn't really, you're good on that front. And there's no blood ties, so that's another part of it. And he's also an older and wiser figure, but there's also like the blatant part of it, which is like, I want to get married and he's the only one that can marry us. And it's
there's that too.
That's the long and the short of it. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, guys, good job. All right, everybody who's watching, I will see you on the next video. Take care. Bye.